All right, for our next talk, we're going to shed a little bit of light on how artificial intelligence is revolutionizing agriculture. Let's welcome the co-founder and CEO of Pollen Systems, Keith McCall, to the stage.
So I've got to start by saying thank you to John Cook and the GeekWire team for allowing me to play one of my favorite video clips of all time at the past Cinerama. I'm not here today to talk about how we're getting into space, but really the technology enablers that are going to get us there. This is not about interstellar technology or getting to space. Instead, this is about how artificial intelligence meets agriculture. Do you realize that in 2050, 2 billion people will be added to our population? Out of those 2 billion people, they will need to be fed. So we need to tune our agriculture. Every single acre, every single location on the planet, we need to be able to understand how farms are being grown, and we need to understand how to optimize the inputs, the water, the fertilizer, the pesticide, the biostimulants that are being used by farmers to be able to optimize their farms. This is my favorite part of Pollen Systems and the work that I do here. This is a satellite image taken of our beautiful planet. And as part of that, we actually have the ability to monitor and manage from satellite and from drones and from IoT devices and from mobile devices the way that people farm and make it better for them. Let's show you an example of this. So this is a satellite shot of a tree farm in Malaysia. If you can see here, it's about 343 hectares of property, and we're able to see from a satellite exactly how many hectares of that property are planted. Just to give you an analogy, that's about 800 acres of planted property. So we took a satellite snapshot using Planet Labs, and then we were able to basically count, using artificial intelligence and deep learning, exactly how many hectares were planted. Let's break that down a little further. Using deep learning, we then created an algorithm that identified the center point of every single tree in that property. So we were able to count how many that is, and that's roughly 43,354 trees with about a 93% accuracy, so we might be off 200 or 300. Once we did that, we were able to layer a different type of camera, it's called near-infrared technology, on top of that image. And we were able to identify the health of every single tree in that property. Green meaning rapidly growing, yellow meaning slightly damaged, and red meaning dead. So we're able to send someone now out with an ATV or with some sort of, walking around the fields or the property. 800 acres might be a little bit too much to walk around, and go to the individual tree and figure out how to fix it or how to address it by applying the right amount of water, pesticide, fertilizer, or biostimulant. Let me give you another example. This is a bottle of Every Vine wine. Now, what does wine have to do with artificial intelligence? Well, Every Vine is a company that aggregates bulk wine from around the world. And what that means is we find out information about wine and where it's available. And as an example, bulk wine is not in shortage at all. In France, just this last year, they paid wineries 250 million euros to dump their excess bulk wine. Okay? So there's a lot of wine out there. There's a lot available. But as I said, what does this have to do with artificial intelligence? Well, look at a company called Tastery, who Every Vine partners with. They have data on 200 million customer profiles, their palate profiles, how they actually like to eat licorice or cherries or other sorts of vegetables even. And they've compiled that data into a massive database and then started applying how you could actually test the bulk wine that Every Vine uses before you actually put it into the bottle. So through artificial intelligence, you could craft a wine that was attractive to Seattle, or attractive to New York, or attractive to Paris. and potentially compete against some of the highest value wines in the world. My final example is TerraClear. TerraClear is a Seattle-based company as well, and what they've done is very innovative. They've actually taken the concept that rocks need to be removed from fields. This is very applicable throughout the Earth, but it's also applicable in other locations when we get to terraform Mars, for instance. You need to have a way of going through the trees, figuring out where the rocks are, pulverizing those rocks, and creating farmland that we can then grow better crops on. This final example is a satellite shot of a vineyard in Chile. Okay? It shows greens and reds and yellows of the vineyard, and it's about 300 hectares of a property called Viña Vic. Viña Vic grows some of the best, highest quality wines in the world. And one of the things they just launched, which is interesting, is an NFT for actually selling wines in a more effective way. But the important thing of this is to realize that this is not a problem for the United States. This is not a problem for Africa. Farming and producing the best quality crops so that we can feed those 2 billion people is what needs to happen over the next few years. Artificial intelligence is going to help us deliver on that vision. And I'd love your help, or if you're interested, to be part of it. Scan the QR code up there, send us an email, and let us know you're interested in hearing more about farming and agriculture as impacted by artificial intelligence. Thank you.